We're ready for the opening tip. Cherokee Parks bats it to Bobby Hurley, who saves it and runs away from Cameron.
Straight man by Maryland. McClinton on Hurley.
Chris Collins to Parks. Thought about it, pulled it back. Now they go inside to Antonio Lang. And that's a travel.
Good feed by Thomas Hill, though. Put it on the floor low so the defender couldn't handle it. Key thing is, in watching this Duke team without Grant Hill is how other guys have stepped up. And Tony Lang is certainly one of those.
X-ray hit from the corner. And Parks the rebound. Hasn't that been interesting, Billy, not only with Grant out, but even when Hurley was out last year, as he has the ball stripped away, Bristol had it out of bounds, how the other guys have picked up the pace.
Well, if you know they're coming back, it really, for a team like Duke that knows it's going to be in the NCAA tournament, to have a team that's going to be very well rested, particularly in the case of Grant Hill when he does come back. The key is, as a coach, you got to know they are coming back to play.
Chris Collins, too long and hit the rebound.
Kind of surprising for him. He's deadly on that shot from that range.
McClinton, who's been a Duke killer here in the past few years, he misses that shot. Slow starts for both sides. Parks. Hurley saves it at midcourt. Thomas Hill draws the foul.
Exree Hipp did a good job with his defense that time getting back, but then once he got back in position, he never got in position to stop Thomas Hill on the drive.
As we mentioned, the stage is set for Bobby Hurley tonight to pass NC State's Chris Corchiani on the NCAA all-time assist chart. Both men, the only two over 1,000, as you see. And of course, the one stat, in addition to the assists, that you glance at when you see about Hurley and you just go, oh my goodness, is the number of victories he has guided Duke to at that point guard position.
Well, the other thing I think is really interesting about his assist totals, in the last 3 games, he's gone 15, 16, 15. Prior to that time, the all-time record at Duke was 14. So in the last 3 games, he's basically beaten what stood for all these many years, the record, and they did it 3 games in a row.
Parks finally gives a scoreboard company.
And of course, there is a problem for Maryland. They just do not get up on the boards. Well, they have a problem with size. They also have a problem with being able to get up off the ground.
McClinton at the line. That's a violation. Ball goes over to Duke.
And we all talk about the statistics that Bobby Hurley has with his assists and with his point totals, but really one of the things that he is maybe as good at as anybody that's played in the league at the point guard is his defensive ability. He is a great defender against the ball.
Turnover. Maryland coming ahead.
Nice
Great
pass.
bounce pass from McClinton to Hipp, and Lang got back to block it, but he also got a piece of the arm.
Hipp has had an outstanding freshman season at Maryland, very solid. But against Duke in the first game this year, he had but 2 points, his low for the season. If he got all ball here, boy, I'll tell you what, I think that was a great block. A great block, and Lang has reason to be somewhat upset.
Exree missing the foul shot. 73% foul shot shooter in league competition this year. So both teams a little shaky here in the first couple of minutes.
Now, Bobby's only been to the free throw line now 46 times on the year, meaning that he's just not actively going to the basket, something he'll have to do to improve his game.
Hurley penetrates, misses, burns the rebound. Maryland trying to push it ahead. McClinton feeds Chris Kerr when he lays it in to tie the game.
You know, it's not like McClinton isn't doing a good job assist-wise, too. He's sitting right in behind Hurley. He's become a very solid point guard. Another one of those guys, basically not recruited as a major player, has developed into one.
Hurley dishes to Collins.
That's 2 for Collins that he's missed.
And Lang is there, and he's one of the young men you talked about, Bill, who's really stepped up his game offensively.
And again, you can see Maryland's problems on the defensive boards. Good backdoor cut.
Hipp controls it, feeds Burns, but Parks is there, gets around him and puts it in.
Nice job by Burns not to walk on that play. He just extended himself out.
Tied at 4. Thomas Hill. Some contact, rebound Bristol.
You know, Maryland has had a number of fast break opportunities so far, and now they're converting.
Count the bucket for Hip and the foul after the release of the basketball. Exery now with 2 personal.
Kind of unusual to see Duke being broke against time after time. You know, there have been 3-on-2 situations, 2-on-1 situations so far in the game. It's very unlike Duke.
With that basket, Maryland takes a 2-point lead.
Duke's trying to set a high screen, get Hurley free, create the switch.
Hurley fakes, fires, misses.
Off balance. Here it comes again. Maryland really getting out, running on the break, getting the numbers.
Bristol. Inside it goes to Kerwin. Parks blocks it. The bounce to Collins, reverse, score!
Great anticipation by Bobby Hurley, teaming up with Collins, a guy he's really not used to handling with on the break. Laid that pass right in there, beautiful.
And his first assist of the night. McClinton weaves his way inside, just powers up. Parks takes it away.
Another break coming up.
Here's Hurley on the dish to Hill, and a foul. And this one will be on Burns.
One of the things Bobby Hurley has done, and he did not do it that well consistently as a freshman and halfway through his sophomore year, and that is distribute the ball consistently on the break. Now he seems to have complete control and command of where everybody else is on the floor, and very seldom finds himself where he doesn't convert a good play when he has the ball in his hands on the fast break.
Experience has been a great teacher for Bobby Hurley.
Well, one of the great plays, and we saw in the opening, Bob, was that one where he's driving to the basket and flipped that ball back around the defender to Thomas Hill coming in there. It's a kind of situation where a guy has to remember where everybody is on the floor and anticipate the movement.
Thomas Hill very quietly has been a third-team All-ACC the last 2 years, getting the recognition he really deserves here in his senior season. His first point of the game, 67% shooter.
He's averaging right up around 19 a game with Grant Hill out of there, so that's what you want from a ball player that can step up when need be, whether it be over a stretch of games or whether it be in a given game.
Coming off a 22-point day against UCLA here last Sunday.
Good switch out front.
McClinton, big trouble, and Duke's got the ball. Hurley doing his Marcus Haynes imitation, comes out of there with it, and ahead it comes. Parks rips it away from Collins.
Oh, nice. Well, the biggest problem for Parks on that play was Collins. Bobby Hurley was really trying to pass that ball to Parks, realizing he could get it up around the rim.
Well, look at that concentration.
Now, it kept it alive, and Maryland relaxed here a little bit as Hurley looked like he was going in the other direction. And then he attacked. You can see right there as Collins tried to make the interception.
Wayne Bristol the foul. Hurley now with 2 assists, and Parks at the line. Got it. He's got 5, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 15:45 to play in the first half. Duke now leading. We'll be back after a word from our good friends at Bud Rock. 2 tonight. 5 total gives him the all-time NCAA record. The early shooting so far in the game. And here comes Maryland.
Johnny Rhodes in the game for the first time tonight. So Gary Williams sat him down for the little bit of reawakening, but now has him in the lineup. Of course, makes Maryland much more effective. Leading freshman scorer in the ACC this year.
In fact, he and Hip are numbers 1 and 2 in freshman scoring in the league.
Good pass.
Hip. And Parks knocks it right back.
And
got it again. Duke is running. Hurley, what a pass! And a foul on Maryland.
Well, there are a lot of ways to deliver the ball. That time, Bobby Hurley delivered it right between his legs. Again, recognizing and understanding where everybody is on the floor. Now, here's where Hip, with age, will get stronger and be able to finish off some of these plays, but no sense putting it up to Parks right in his face. We'll see this. He knew where Collins was, put it right down. Here comes Lang behind him. He has Collins on his right. He had Lang on his left. He had Thomas Hill as a trailer. Could have told you where all 4 were, even though he was looking straight ahead.
Evers Burns draws the personal foul. And it's his second. They're going to call it a shooting foul, so Antonio Lang will go to the line.
You know, Hurley really would have his 5 assists if there weren't for the fouls on the other end of the break.
Here's Grant Hill, and you see that he is in uniform but will not play tonight. Some question as to whether he'll go at all on Sunday against the Tar Heels.
Well, the main thing will be a conditioning situation too, Bob. You know, it's one thing if a guy's out with a bad hand, at least he can run. In the case of Grant's injury, you have a hard time staying in real good shape. So he'll have to get back to playing shape. And when you take in consideration the NCAA tournament the way it is, Duke knowing they're probably not going to have a chance to be a #1 seed, it may be the kind of thing where Mike Krzyzewski will just gradually bring him back to have him in good shape come the second week in March.
I thought Mike made an interesting point when he was talking about Hill's absence. He says, you know, it's okay to be out for a few games. We don't want him to be out too long because the other guys then become a unit.
Right.
And it's a little tougher to work a guy even as talented as Grant Hill back in without some disruption at a time of the year when you're playing your most important games.
I would agree with that, but in this particular case, he's only talking about changing one starter. The key thing that Mike is going to get out of this, however, is an Antonio Lang stepping up to realize, hey, I'm being counted on now. I can score 15 points in the game. A Cherokee Parks stepping up and saying, you know what, if they need me, I can score 18 in the game. It's not a guy who was relegated to a certain role offensively and accepted that role.
The reason for the delay, we have some blood on the floor that had to be disposed of properly. Now Lang shooting the foul shots and missing. Duke has been terrific in shooting foul shots recently, but tonight they've struggled. Thomas Hill's missed 2. Lang has now missed his first of 2.
As a team shooting right at 73%. And of course, that traditional Duke statistic that jumps out at you, they have made 91 more free throws this year than their opponents have even shot.
A 12-6 advantage for Duke.
Second steal by Hurley.
Here they come with Lang.
Nice.
Count the basket and a blocking foul on Maryland.
That was some layup. Great finish by Antonio Lang. We talked about a guy stepping up. Hurley knocked it first, then Lang got it, and look, he takes this thing from half court all the way down, finishes it off with his left hand.
Antonio Lang in the Maryland game here last year turned out to be a Duke hero. He followed a Lakener miss that gave Duke a 2-point win over the Terrapins. That was the biggest scare that Duke had at home all season.
And of course, in that game, McClinton had 25, was 11 of 14 from the floor, played a great game.
Hip, after having a couple of shots rejected by Parks, tried to feed Kerwin and threw it away.
And I think everybody will remember there was one player on the floor that night that Maryland does not have this year. His name is Walt Williams.
Yes.
So that's quite a difference.
The Terrapins have not won in this building since 1988. 14-6, Duke leading. Some pressure by Maryland, and Hip got a hand on it to knock it away. And McClinton rainbows it in.
I really thought he had the lob that time to Hip.
That basket ends an 8-0 Duke run.
Hurley would like a solid screen to get McClinton off his back a little bit.
Deflected by Rhodes out of bounds.
You know, I think McClinton is bleeding. It's surprising they're leaving him in the game. He's got a little cut on his chin, but he's staying in the game. That really surprises me.
Maybe that red jersey, unable to detect it. Shot clock at 10. X-ray Hip intercepts. Outlets to McClinton, and Maryland's got a breakaway. Rhodes with a dunk.
Good strength by McClinton. He caught that ball. The guy with lesser strength would have had the ball knocked out of his hands.
Like a good defensive back.
Yep.
Go for that interception and hang on to it.
Yep. Like his dad, who was obviously an outstanding football defender. Good offset by Collins, doesn't get it back.
Parks.
Ooh, what a rebound.
Thomas Hill carried it out of bounds. I think Thomas was looking for a foul. Didn't hear the whistle, and when he stepped out of bounds, the ball went to Maryland.
When Duke looks at the replay of that particular sequence, Cherokee Parks could have dumped it back out to Collins, who had offset after he threw the ball inside for an easy three-point attempt. Duke took the hard shot.
Kerwin's hook. Nope. Clark got a hand on it. It's hip up and off. And Merrick, Meek, and Burns. A held ball. Possession arrow favors Maryland.
Thomas Hill still hollering at the official about the fouling on the inside. See, he's got blood on his lip and he's still in the game. I don't understand this.
Now the throw into the backcourt. Burns runs it down. That's a legal play. Yeah, you're right, Bill. That was clear on that last shot
without
about
question.
McClinton.
Yeah. I mean, if they're worrying about wiping up the floor, they got a player out there, and if you're going to call it by the rules, he's got to come out of the game.
You can see him put his hand to his lip.
Exactly. It's kind of amazing. And now he's wiping it on his uniform. I mean, the referees are not doing the job in administering this game.
Hurley had the last foul. Rhodes misses. Clark rebounds.
Oh, I lost it. Oh, there's one that he'd like to have back.
Lang rolls it in.
Slipped out of Bobby Hurley's hands and almost ended up with an assist.
Well, when you have over 1,000, you get them any way you can.
Well, I'm sure he's had somebody worked that a lot harder.
Hey, and he has a block shot to add to his repertoire.
There's Thomas Hill for one.
Count it.
What we're seeing now is that Duke, when you figure Grant Hill will come back, they are really developing three outstanding finishers on that break. You got Lang a finisher, Thomas Hill a finisher, and Grant Hill a finisher. So Hurley will have any one of three guys to go to on the break.
Hurley now with 3 assists. And Thomas Hill, the beneficiary, looking for his 5th point of the game. Interesting, Bill, as you know, he was a post player in high school and then moved to the guard spot in college and has really developed into quite a good shooter. Meek going up strong. Now it's going to go to Duke on the alternating possession.
Nice job by Burns. Holding his ground, keeping his hands on the ball rather than chopping down with a foul. Had a big game, 27 points, 13 rebounds against Clemson to Burns. You look at his stats, he's had a fine year this year.
Thomas Hill for 3. 7 for Thomas. Duke by 11. Backdoor cutting, X-ray hit. Fouled by Eric Meek.
X-ray has made a couple of really nice backdoor cuts, and the ball has been in his hand. Now there's a situation where he tried to finish off by going over the top of Meek, and again, as I said, as he matures, gets a little stronger, those plays will not only put him on the foul line, he'll be going for 3-point plays.
Every time I see this kid, I can't help but think of the facial resemblance to Ralph Sampson. Whip is now 0 for 3 at the line. When you look at him from a distance, as slender as he is. Parker Bruck in D.C.
Boy, he's missed 4.
Oh.
Been long on all of them, too.
21-10. Clark off the screen. Set by Lang.
Now Clark had scored in double figures 2 games in a row, 10 and 15. Then he didn't score at all against UCLA. And he's another player that stepped up pretty well, with the exception of that one game, obviously, with Grant Hill out of there.
McClinton, his second bucket. Hurley got that assist on the Clark bucket, so he's got 4. Thomas Hill driving, leaves it short, gets it back. Missed that one. Kerwin takes it away.
Nice job by McClinton creating a passing lane there. There goes Rhodes.
Johnny quickly to the bucket, scores his second basket. 23-14 Duke.
You get a feeling that maybe the Duke players are cognizant of the fact of what Hurley's doing assist-wise, because they've kind of gotten out of their offense a little bit. There's the lob.
Meek
with
puts it in, and there's the record. Bobby Hurley on that feed to Eric Meek has become the all-time NCAA assist leader. Number 1,039 from Bobby Hurley.
Certainly records are made to be broken, but when you take in consideration the number of games that Bobby Hurley has played, and the fact that a guy now that's of the stature to have this many assists with the opportunity to go early in the draft, and also the lack of injuries throughout his career, with the exception of last year, that's going to be a record that's going to be pretty tough to go after.
Plus the fact, Billy, he has played in 18 NCAA tournament games.
Exactly.
And more to come.
Yep. And already holds the NCAA record for assists in the NCAA tournament. Career.
So Eric trying to polish off the three-point play.
He's got 129 assists in 17 NCAA tournament games. Actually, 18 NCAA tournament games.
Burns rejected by Parks. But Cherokee has become quite a rejector here in the first half. 25-14, Duke on top of Maryland, and will return after this from Pepsi. And it says it's a pass that leads directly to a basket. You look up the definition of Bobby Hurley, it's a man who leads you directly to a championship.
Well, how about the trivia question 10 years from now? Who was the man that made the shot on Bobby Hurley's all-time record-breaking assists? You say, let's see, who was on that team? Grant Hill,
That's right.
Thomas Hill, Antonio Lang, Cherokee Parks. Nope.
Clemson wins again. North Carolina wins tonight. Virginia back on track with a non-conference win over the College of Charleston, team that knocked off Georgia Tech earlier this season. Big win for the Tar Heels. They're first as the new #1 team in the country.
And that has been a tough job for all #1s this year, is to win that game after they were elevated to that position. Duke comes out playing a little zone. 2-3 matchup, Parks down in the middle.
Marty Clark a near steal. We were talking earlier about Cherokee Parks and what a first half he is having. Already 4 blocks for the Chief here in the first half. He had 4 at Maryland and 6 earlier this year against Virginia. And a foul inside. This one will be on Maryland, and I think it's on Johnny Rhodes.
We know Duke is not a great shot blocking team. I mean, they have 100 coming in the game. They had 148 as a team. But Maryland, and we talked about being able to get up on the boards as a team this year, and it's always a pretty good indicator, has only blocked 78 shots. So, that's the indicator that they just aren't getting up there around that rim.
Actually, Hemp was the man who had the foul, his third rather than Rhodes, so he's out of the game, and Simpkins is back in.
You have a situation here if you're Maryland. They have been a team of late game of spurts, both positive and negative. Now, right now at the 10-minute mark, in a situation where they're down double figures, they have to be real careful the next couple of minutes that Duke doesn't get one of those 10-0 runs and this game is over. So I'm sure that Gary's sitting on that sideline wanting to say, let's stay with the offense, keep control of the game tempo-wise, because with this crowd been relatively silent, waiting on the Hurley story to unfold, there could be real problems for them.
The Duke lead is 12. Dwayne Simpkins, who has spent his freshman year as the understudy to McClinton at the point.
Now watch this defense by Duke. A matchup zone.
5-second violation.
And it's causing a lot of problems for Maryland. Now they've got to get some movement in their offense right now. They're standing still instead of sending cutters through to make Duke get out of that position.
Blakeney.
Meek again.
Had it poked out of his hands by McClinton. Hurley for 3.
Yeah, if I'm Gary Williams, I got to think real seriously about getting a timeout now and changing the offense, because they are really confused by what Duke's doing to them here.
Blue Devils' biggest lead tonight, 29-14. Rhodes underneath, up and in.
Oh, it's a score, isn't he?
6. And did not start the ball game tonight. Hurley trying to feed Parks, had it kicked by Kerwin.
Pretty nice job by Kerwin to get back into passing that time, because Cherokee Parks is broken right down the center.
T. Hill and Lang come for Clark and Meek at the 9:23 mark.
Now with the first teamers back, it'll be interesting to see if Duke doesn't change and go back to their tough man-to-man.
Hurley right underneath to Thomas Hill, stripped, but McClinton picks up the personal. Kevin came into this building last year and had just a whale of a game. 25 points and 11 assists.
You know, something interesting talking about that cut on Kevin's lip. Now there's a cut that I don't know if you can stop. I mean, it's not like you can put a Band-Aid on it. And the rule is that a player cannot come back in with an open wound until it is closed up and it stopped bleeding. And I don't know what you do if a guy's cut on the lip.
We'll have to ask our director, Ken Dennis, does all the boxing, what that stuff is the boxers put on to quickly stop those wounds. 8 points for Thomas Hill.
Well, for those who watched Vinny Ponziano fight last night, there was nothing they could put on the eye of his opponent because it closed all up. It wasn't a matter of blood.
9 points for Thomas Hill. 31-16 Duke. Burns poked away. And a foul on Thomas Hill.
Boy, that was called from left field.
No, Hurley.
No, Thomas Hill got the call.
I thought Bobby Donato said 11.
Burns has not been able to get on track down low yet tonight. Maryland certainly. Duke does stay with that zone situation.
Fought for Parks. And Burns ties him up. Maryland keeps the ball. 9:03 left, first half. Duke 31, Maryland 16. Right underneath to McClinton. Lying ahead to Hurley.
There's that jump stop of Thomas Hill, doesn't get by. McClinton again with good strong hands.
And Maryland kind of come in waves again, lost it out of bounds. Boy, another opportunity for Maryland on a 3-on-1 that time.
They did. They had the numbers, and McClinton is trying to take it all the way. Instead of maybe stopping the foul line, let Hurley play him, but then let the cutters go ahead and get an easy layup.
Hurley out of bounds. Duke ball with 33 seconds on the shot clock.
Hurley tried to use his body to get Simpkins on his hip. And in trying to get so much body pressure on him, I think when Simpkins pulled away, it just knocked Bobby Hurley to the floor.
The shooting so far, Duke at an even 50. Maryland chugging along at 36%. The Terrapins in league play this year, Billy, shooting just 41%.
Of course, shot very poorly in the second half in their first game, only 40% on the full game. Here's another situation. 2-on-1 break. You got to convert these.
And Johnny Rhodes puts it in. Nice catch, and then the nice shot.
Well, the two freshmen that time. Simpkins with the ball handling ability, 2-on-1, was able to convert.
31-18. And Simpkins picks up Hurley at midcourt. Whistle stops play, and we've got a foul. And this
Blakely on a solid screen, yeah.
So Blakeney picks up his first. ACC action coming up this weekend. On Saturday, our first doubleheader game comes your way from Winston-Salem when the Deacons play host to NC State. Then from Charlottesville, the Cavaliers and the Maryland Terrapins at 4 p.m. Final weekend of the regular season. This season has flown by. Can't believe the tournament is next week. We got a foul. This one's on Thomas Hill.
You know, basically, this game has never had a pace to it. There have been a lot of calls by officials, a lot of jump ball type situations, and nobody able to get a nice run going.
Timeout on the floor. We'll be back after a word from our good friends at Budweiser. There's Grant Hill sitting on the Duke bench. Duke in control here. And this is what Grant's numbers look like for the season. But with him out of the lineup, Billy, the rest of the cast has really picked it up.
They really have. And you can see Cherokee Parks up 6 points. Tony Lang up almost 7 points. Of course, Collins coming off the bench. All of the fellows filling in, doing a good job.
Maryland with the ball, trailing 31-18.
And I think what we see Mike Krzyzewski doing is experimenting some with this defense, figuring that somewhere in the NCAA tournament he can go to something a little bit different than that pressure man-to-man.
What a great steal by Lang that time. Working against Burns in the low post. Now Parks trying to do it offensively. And a foul on Duke.
No pace to this game.
No.
I mean, just a lot of fouls. Nobody can get a run going.
All the emotion was front-loaded.
Yeah.
You had the big ceremony with the seniors, and then the Hurley countdown to the assist record. And although Duke has built a fairly nice lead here, you're right, it's been a very disjointed half.
Well, yeah, look at the situation here. We have 10 team fouls on Maryland, 7 on Duke. We've got 7:30 to go in the first half. I mean, very unusual to be in that situation, both teams in foul trouble.
And nobody can hit a free throw. Both teams have really struggled. Burns missing the front end of it 1-1, but Maryland maintains possession.
See, Maryland not getting any cutters to figure out just exactly what is Duke doing to them. I mean, they're set up as if they're playing zone. Now they're showing man-to-man.
Now blocking, foul on Collins.
8th team foul on Duke.
So give Kevin McClinton the bucket, and he'll shoot a foul shot.
Well, I think that was a no call. I mean, the shot was made. Nobody gained an advantage.
Kevin has picked up 5 assists tonight, and he's now 10 away from number 3 in the all-time Maryland list, held currently by Dutch Morley. 7th point.
And in that game last year, as I mentioned, he had 25 points. He also had 11 assists. So I think he likes this court. He's played well against Duke consistently.
Some tremendous numbers against the Duke defense.
In the last 4 games, 18, 19, 25, and 17.
Not only a great backdoor cut, but a super look by Antonio Lang.
He's having a good first half. He's had a couple of steals, a couple of solid rebounds.
Well, that was a pretty play.
Yep.
33-21 Duke.
Now straight Duke, but Marty Clark lost his man.
Knocked away by Parks. Rhodes gets it back.
Nice.
McClinton up and in.
Nice pass by Rhodes. Boy, Rhodes is quick. In every respect. You know, he's got quick hands. He's thinking quick out there tonight. And obviously the quick feet.
Foul, this one on Burns, and I think that'll be number 3.
See, what's happening is the fact that although Duke is not converting, the reason they're not converting is Maryland's fouling on everything that's down in close. That's going to count up here shortly.
Well, already, Billy, Hipp and Burns on the bench with 3 fouls apiece.
I mean, something has to give if you're going to commit that many fouls. That wouldn't be the game.
2 shots.
Lang 1 for 3 at the line.
Burns has fouled out of 6 games this year, which is a high total for a guy you'd like to have on the court a lot.
We talked about it, Lang picking up his game offensively. You see what he's done tonight. 11 at State in the Florida State win last Wednesday, 14 against the Bruins on Sunday. Lang has got 8 tonight.
And the other thing you can see is just exuding confidence on the floor right now. It's not like I'm the one guy filling in a role. I mean, he's out there playing, hey, I'm a legitimate starter that's got a job to do. McClinton's got some size on Hurley, but you haven't seen him post him up yet.
Simpkins.
There it is. Nice play.
Beautiful feed. Hurley with a foul.
Great job by Simpkins to realize what was happening. McClinton wanted to go down inside with Hurley. The first time I've seen him really take him low. Bobby Hurley is thinking, well, how can I go ahead and disrupt the play elsewhere? Now watch Hurley lose sight of his man. You see where Hurley is? And look at where McClinton is. Bobby Hurley never anticipated that his man would post him down inside, and he was really out of position there.
We talked about the foul shooting, but that doesn't affect Mr. McClinton. He leads the conference at 86%. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
You know what I like about him? As a sophomore, he shot 68%. As a junior, 78%. And this year, 87%. So he has really worked at every phase of his game.
And a kid who was more recruited as a football player than basketball coming out of high school.
Right, you wouldn't project him to be a starting guard in the ACC when he came to the University of Maryland.
Burns really the same way.
Yep.
Tight end in football, and heavily recruited in that sport. Clark down the lane. Nice dish. But Parks is fouled.
Yeah, they cannot finish anything off because every time they get around the basket, they get fouled.
Freshman Mario Lucas with his first.
Mario Lucas from Maryland, his first.
So Cherokee Parks will shoot a couple. Thomas Hill's back in. Chris Collins to the bench.
The other thing that does, Bob, it keeps the crowd out of it. Now, that normally would have been a dunk by Parks. The crowd gets all fired up to get into the game. These fouls have really kept the crowd from having any momentum, which is a big factor here in this gymnasium.
6 points for the Chief. Talking about Parks and his block shots earlier tonight. Only Mike Jaminski has ever had more than Parks' 57 blocks in a single season. So he's really coming on as a shot blocker and a shot changer in the middle. 36-24 Duke. Oh, nice steal by Marty Clark. Reads Hurley, lays it in, and a blocking foul. Count the bucket.
Clark a little slow getting up on that one. Clark likes to take it. You know, if you're scouting Duke, Clark is the kind of guy, once he turns the corner, he very seldom gives it back. So you got to play him to shoot as opposed to pass on the break.
Boy, Simpkins got it right in the jaw, too.
There's the steal. He used that inside hand. Great defensive technique. And in officials' mind, Simpkins just didn't get there in time.
12 fouls now on Maryland here in the half. Clark bidding for his 7th point. Lang.
I thought there was another foul in there, not called.
I did too. And we have another jump ball situation. The arrow gives it to Duke.
How many? There's got to be some kind of a record for a half. It's got to be about the 6th or 7th jump ball situation. So between the number of fouls, 10 on Maryland so far and 9 on Duke.
Second chance points, Duke by 2 touchdowns.
Good rebound by Lucas.
(38-24) Blue Devils.
Good quickness.
Just so. McClinton uses the glass and puts it in. Kevin with a dozen first-half points.
And of course, falling to the ground, you can see that the sweat all over the floor. The referee having to stop the game. Now that can be a dangerous situation there.
And the Duke ball boys working quickly to mop it up. 4:30 to play in the first half.
Simpkins doing a fine job staying out in front of Hurley.
Clark
didn't have it in his hand.
Rhodes gets it ahead. Simpkins penetrates. Parks knocks it over to Hurley. His 5th block shot of the half. Thomas Hill. Lucas. Rhodes behind the line. McClinton. Thomas Hill. Soft move. Dallas in double figures.
Hurley may be going after that 16 assists again tonight. I mean, he just had all kinds of guys open. If they hadn't been fouled on the other end, he'd be over double figures already.
6 officially for Hurley. Lucas.
But another block.
Clark the rebound. Hurley spots up, nails it.
Second three of the night. That's what makes it tough to defend, when a guy can pull up and hit a three as well as dish off.
And the Maryland Terrapins are going to take a timeout. Duke starting to pull away, 43-26. We'll be back.
In the lane. The first thing you've got to do playing against a Hurley is to go ahead and make sure you've got a man on him. But there was a case where Thomas Hill filled the lane to his right. Nobody on him. Defensively by Maryland. Didn't stop the man with the ball. It didn't pick up anybody in the lanes.
Duke has outscored Maryland 10-3 in the last 3:17 to take this big lead. And you see what the numbers that have been put up so far show. Duke 48%. They've been right about 50 all game.
Well, something deceiving there in the fact that there would have been a lot of layups made that would have increased that shooting percentage, but there was fouls committed on the layups.
Kerwin, a couple of pumps in the bucket. First with 4, the senior from West Palm Beach. 43-28. Blakeney. Oh, up and in. Made the good fake and scored.
What happened there, Bob? Nobody had picked up Kenny on the Maryland defense, and he just snuck in the game. Now Duke goes back to that matchup zone again. See if Maryland will send through some cutters.
Through Lucas' hands, out of bounds.
Certainly was catchable.
Hey, reminder, friends, the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. Bob Rathman, Billy Packard, Cameron Indoor Stadium, 45-28, Duke on top. 2 minutes to go in the half. Hurley to Blakeney.
Somebody ought to introduce him to a Maryland player so that somebody will guard him. That's 2 plays in a row that he hasn't had a man on him.
Well, they should know him, Billy. He played at DeMatha.
Exactly. Right where Simpkins played.
Bristow in and out. Lying ahead to Hurley over the shoulder.
Jump shot.
You've seen that play before.
Exactly. I mean, when Hurley crosses half court, if there's not somebody behind you, you better go guard him first because he's going to make a play.
A 21-point Duke lead.
That's a walk.
Well, they're going to call the foul.
I know what they're going to call. But he walked before he ever was fouled.
Second foul on Lang.
And we have 20 fouls have been called in this first half. 10 on Duke, 10 on Maryland. So you're looking for equity, you've got it. You're looking for a long, boring first half, you got that too.
To the line goes Kevin McClinton. Well, he had a tough day at Clemson on Saturday. Went 2 for 18 from the field. Coming back in a rare miss at the foul line. A game that is just crying for some rhythm.
You know, he's number 4 all-time assist man at Maryland now. It's Keith Gatlin, number 1 up there, which that's a kind of a trivia question. You'd be thinking John Lucas.
Clark fakes.
Oh,
fake.
nice play. Beautiful.
Eric Meek with a lay-in.
There, Meek gets hit in the eye. He's got his hand out. And Kerwin thought that he was just trying to showboat a little bit and slapped his hand away. Meek couldn't even see. That was a great pass. Good finish.
Simpkins with the foul.
And the line for the Blue Devils, Eric Meek, the 1 shot.
Eric with 5 first half points. 3 Maryland players,
Right.
Billy, have 3 fouls now.
Yep.
Simpkins, Hip, and Burns. This may be a war of attrition. Tapped out to Blakeney by Clark.
Clark's having a good first half. scoring well, driving the ball tough to the basket, getting it on the boards. Nice pass.
Not a nice
Look at these
feed.
fouls. It's incredible. And nobody even making a decent attempt to go up there and block a shot. They're just chopping people. Maybe they think that the ACC has reinstituted the Big East old 6-foul rule or something. I mean, watch this play. Here he's got a shot inside. Look at it, just chopping people. I mean, that could have been called on either play.
So Meek will shoot a pair. We talked about Clark's first half. Well, Eric Meek has come off the bench to make a solid contribution too. 24 fouls have been called here in the half. Maryland has put John Walsh, a sophomore, into the ball game. And this one gets the high bounce in the drop. 53-29. Maryland has given up a ton of points here in this first half.
So McClinton looking to dribble his way in there, and he's being played man-to-man out front against the ball, but a basic zone in behind him. He needs to pass and cut.
The 10th Maryland turnover. 45 seconds to play.
Smart play by Kenny Blakeney. No sense trying to drive it in there when nothing was available. They want to get that last shot or something close to it. Now with Hurley out of the game, it'll be interesting to see who's the guy they put up front. Duke likes to go to that 1-4.
And Marty Clark lost it out of bounds.
And that's what happens when Bobby Hurley is not in the game in these kind of situations. He's the master at taking the ball down for that final shot. And I was really interested to see what Duke would do without him out there.
Clinton short with it. Meek gets it ahead. Plenty of time, and Blakeney's going to go all the way to the bucket. Blocked by Rhodes, and that'll be the half. Blakeney thought he had a snowbird, but Johnny Rhodes caught up with that play very quickly. 53-29. Duke leads Maryland here as we get the second half of play. Bob Rathbun, Billy Packer with you. And Billy, as far as Maryland is concerned, you got to think that they've got to get something going from the perimeter. All of McClinton's points have come on his drives to the basket.
Well, they were getting an excellent situation with 3-on-2 breaks, 2-on-1 breaks. They weren't converting very well, but they were getting out. I think another thing that they have to do when you look that they haven't done much on the perimeter is the fact that Evers Burns only has 2 shots. Now, here's a guy that's their leading scorer, guy averaging right up around 20 points a game, only gets 2 shots in the first half. He has got to come up big and get the ball down low some.
Of course, he and Hip and Simpkins, to some extent, saddled with those foul difficulties. Burns spent a lot of time on the bench. He starts the second half with 3 personals.
And I said he's got to get something started down low, and there he is, 25 feet from the rim.
Maryland turnover. Thomas Hill misses the shot.
Follows it nicely.
Hey, here we go, another Hill ball. Between the fouls and the jump ball situations today, new record.
Well, you know, you talk about a lot of things in regard to scouting. Thomas Hill is a guy, when he comes down from his jump shot, is going to foul his shot. You notice nobody put the block out on him. Some guys are not going to, and you maybe can go ahead and relax a little bit. But in his particular case, he is going to foul every shot.
Lang scoops it up and in. Ballet style by Antonio Lang.
Really playing with confidence now.
Great time of year to play with confidence, too. Tournament time just around the corner.
He makes the move. Yep, no walk. Nice play.
Evers Burns. Billy picks up his 4th foul.
Lang just 2 for 5 from the foul line in the first half.
11 points tonight. He's been in double figures now in 4 straight games. the rebound. Oh, and big numbers for Duke as they blow it ahead. Collins to Hurley. Now Maryland is running 4-on-2. Hit to the bucket. Second basket for entry hit. Collins dropped it out of bounds.
And you know what happened to Chris on that particular play? He was getting ready to take the shot. He had his eye on the rim before he caught the ball. He just, you know, he's a guy that does have good hands, but you got to catch it before you can shoot it.
By 25. Rhodes.
I mentioned Thomas Hill. Rhodes is very much like that. He's going to follow your shot. You better put a body on him.
Gary Williams. It's been a long night on the Terrapin bench for Gary.
And he's going to take Burns out with those 4 fouls. In a game like this, down, you might as well go ahead. Let him have the run. He sure hasn't been very effective tonight, just 2 points. That was a walk on McClinton, and it wasn't called.
Collins. Oh, look at the back pass. It goes to the jamming Antonio Lang.
Now we talked, Bob, about him knowing where everybody is on the floor, and Hurley certainly knew what was coming in behind him.
And a great lead pass to get it started by Chris Collins, too. 18:26 to play. We'll be back after a word from our good friends at Budweiser. Gary Williams just trying to, I think, Billy, more than anything else, just get his team together and try to get them to play well. This one has gotten so out of hand.
Now, look at how much matchup zone Duke has played tonight. You know, they went into it midway through the first half, and they've shown it a lot here in this game.
Just what Duke needs, another defensive weapon. That's a nice three-pointer by Mario Lucas, the freshman out of Memphis.
Yeah, we're waiting for something to happen inside, and the inside man goes out on the perimeter.
Poked away, and Parks. Oh, it went off of McClinton. Going to be Duke ball.
No, I don't think so.
Well, Bob Donato.
He's calling it white ball. Even Parks can't believe that. I think Parks realized he touched it. McClinton saying, you got to be kidding me.
Now, it is going to go to Maryland.
Well, he keeps saying white. But, see, Cherokee Parks hit the ball without question. It ended up right. Maybe he was saying right, not white.
We get a foul on Antonio Lang, or on Thomas Hill. Billy, with what Hurley has done, not only tonight in breaking the record, but what he's done in his career, put his numbers up against some of the premier point guards of the past, John Lucas and Phil Ford. Your thoughts on this threesome?
Well, you'd like to have them all in the backcourt at the same time. The thing that's kind of really interesting out of that group is that Ford and Lucas were both 3-time first-team All-ACC players. Bobby Hurley has never made All-ACC first team. Is that hard to believe?
Incredible.
Yep. Nice dish.
McClinton.
Number 22, Kevin McClinton.
Kevin now with 15.
How about this? Maryland showing a press.
Now, this is what
1-2-1-1. This was part of Gary's long tradition, but with the club he's had this year, without that quickness, particularly in the front court, it is something he hadn't been able to do.
Maryland has scored the last 7, but they still trail by 20.
Duke got 13 big points in the first half off the bench from Clark and Meek. In a few minutes, you're going to see them both back in here if they don't start scoring.
Collins, 4-3.
Great pure shooter.
Saw one story, Billy, where he was talking about growing up. Of course, his dad coaching the Bulls, and he said, I grew up shooting NBA threes. So the range is much in his favor. In his basketball maturation, he's been shooting from long range for a long time. Hurley wants to try one.
That's 3 of those that he's great to stop and take a 3, and he hasn't had anybody guard him on any one of the 3.
Just like that, Duke goes up 64-38. McClinton.
McClinton's starting to realize what that defense looks like. You know, another thing, Bob, that tonight they honored the 2 seniors. They talked about the Duke senior class. I remember there was one other guy in that class who's not playing badly this year in college basketball, Billy McCaffrey. He would have been with that group tonight. Gave up, obviously, another opportunity to be on the national championship last year where he sat out at Vandy, but having a great year with that club. It's got him up in the top 10. And there's that matchup again. So Hurley forces the dribbler, then gets out of the way.
Burns, the bucket will count, and
that'll be a foul on Meek. The basket counts. Meek fouls on the rebound. Obviously not a 1-on-1, so they'll get the ball out of bounds.
15:51 to play. McClinton's really turned into quite an Iron Man, making his 75th straight start for Maryland. Stripped by Hill, and ahead to Hurley. Oh,
boy, he went down hard.
Travel on Bobby. His feet went out from underneath him. Boy, how proud they must be tonight. 68-46.
Cat and mouse by Bobby Hurley.
Back out to Blakely. Shot clock is at 25, so the Blue Devils have plenty of time. Everybody gets to touch the ball.
See, that time when Lang drove at Meek, Meek had to get out of the way. He just stood there and allowed, in effect, one defender to guard 2 people.
Hurley gets open, short. Marty Clark over to Lang, and the foul on Kerwin.
Pretty good catch by Marty Clark as the ball was thrown right in his ankle.
On Maryland's number 25, Chris Kerwin, his 4th personal foul.
4 fouls now on Kerwin.
Along with number 33.
Just if you're thinking, the all-time record for the most fouls by one team in an ACC game is 40, so we got a ways to go.
Got a way to go.
It only seems like 40.
Well, the only thing I can say is hopefully we weren't broadcasting that one.
I think Bones had that game.
Yeah, we've never. This game just has never had a pace to it.
There's a foul trouble, and that list is getting longer by the minute. And McClinton takes it away. McClinton trying to go where there was no place to go, but draws the foul. A reminder, friends, stay tuned for the Players of the Game Award, brought to you by Nations Bank.
You know, that was close to being a technical. Hurley had the ball in his hands, but Clinton, and you could question whether the ball was over the line or not, but I think Hurley still had the ball in his hands when McClinton, in effect, blocked it. You know, if you reach on over the line, smack that ball, it's a technical foul.
Eric Meek to the bench with 4 fouls. Parks is back.
And I'm reaching here because, you know, I mean, these officials have found a lot to call, so
a lot of air in the whistle.
Maybe we can try one, right?
68-46, 10:27 left. Great inbounds pass to Rhodes, and we've got a blocking foul. ACC tournament, of course, is coming up very soon, March the 12th, just a week from tomorrow. Our coverage begins at noon on Friday. And that, of course, will have a dynamite game right off the bat, Billy, because that's 4 against 5, and the way the matchups are coming down, that's going to be a tough, tight matchup no matter which way it falls.
Well, it certainly looks like we'll have to wait until Sunday afternoon to see who gets paired up. But basically, when you look at that logjam at the 3-6 game and the 4-5 game, it could be any combination of guys, and in any case, no matter how you divide it up, I mean, those are going to be tremendous contests. Very competitive situation.
North Carolina has the #1 spot in the top seed all wrapped up as Cherokee Parks dunks one. Carolina, if you missed it, won big tonight over Wake Forest in Chapel Hill. And Clemson beat NC State at Little Jump. Burns underneath, and McClinton lays it home. 17 for Kevin tonight, 70-49.
The press doesn't bother Duke. They go right over the top. Good passing.
Chief. Oh, my.
Hey, the big guy is starting to do a lot of solid things in there tonight. He has been a man among boys on the boards. Excellent outlet passing on Parks' part. And here he makes a tough catch, holds his ground, and puts up a shot. Off balance, but hits it.
You know you're going to get hit. And Parks has the presence of mind to get it up on the glass at a decent scoring position.
In the last 6 games, he's averaging 16.7 points, 8.3 rebounds, 1.7 blocks a game. I mean, that's solid production from anybody. Those are all conference-type numbers.
Burns stuffs it in.
Maryland getting a little bit used now to that zone defense.
72-51.
Lob to Parks.
Hurley all the way.
Now Burns just wouldn't give up that opportunity to go charging at Hurley, so Hurley would go ahead and throw the lob. See, they're starting to go right through the zone. Not the way I'm sure Mike Krzyzewski wants it played. You still have to play even if you're going to be in a matchup zone.
74, Maryland 53.
McClinton telling Hurley, try to drive by me.
Poked away by McClinton, but last touch by Rhodes.
Hurley asking for a foul call, doesn't get it. And McClinton right in his face talking to him. Yeah, laughing at him.
74-53.
And so Hurley, dishes inside. Clark just couldn't get his hands on it.
Oh, loose ball. Picked up by Clark. He falls down.
4 down. A nice pass to the official. He can't convert.
McClinton to Rhodes.
By number 15,
Johnny off the bench with 13.
Well, under 20 for the first time in a while. How about a 3?
How about it?
How about 4 of them?
16 overall points for Hurley. 77-55.
He's really made excellent judgments tonight, pulling up and taking those threes. And it looks like he's getting some lift back in his legs to make them.
You know, his overall percentage, Billy, is not that great, but Hurley is still the 4th most accurate three-point shooter in league history. We'll be back as there's a timeout on the floor after this word from our good friends at Budweiser. To work.
And you can see that Johnny Rhodes is coming behind him, anticipating the shot. Hurley realizing coming right behind is Antonio Lang. That was a good hit ahead that time as well. Bobby Hurley lays it right back. Johnny Rhodes, nothing he can do about that at all. Excellent play.
Impressive. 77-55 Blue Devils. Walsh will take it. Miss it.
Oh, no foul.
And Burns gets the bucket. Duke, no problem with the press. Parks with the jam, hip with a foul. Maryland might get some turnovers with that press against some teams. They won't get it against this club.
They're throwing right over the top of the press. It's not effective at all. And there you can see Cherokee Parks finishing off the play and not even feeling Hip coming over to try to stop the play. Now, we talked about trivia questions 10 years from now as to who converted Bobby Hurley's record assist. It'll be Eric Meek. Question was just put up on the board. It's a great one. Who was the guy that was the recipient of the first assist Bobby Hurley ever made? And it was kind of surprising. We mentioned his name earlier tonight, Billy McCaffrey.
2 excellent entries in the trivia contest. Rhodes.
No shot. Off to the races.
Hurley.
That's a rebound on the floor.
Seat of the pants.
Vertical leap of 0. And they always talk about, you know, the key in rebounding is positioning. There, Walsh found himself flat in his back, still got it, and then hits a 3. So, very aggressive coming off the bench. Been impressive.
Double team, timeout Duke. Thomas Hill in between the two defenders. Burns a timeout with 6:21 left. Duke leads by 20. We'll be right back.
Second half by getting in the way.
Lang backs it up, waits for his minutes. 6:15 to play.
Now Duke is running their offense up a lot higher now. They're going to try to go ahead and sucker Maryland into playing high and overplaying and then cut somebody back down along the baseline. There it is.
Clark goes through, but hip intercepts. And McClinton kicks it out of bounds.
You know, we talked earlier about Gary Williams, and of course this has been a struggling year for a guy that is quite a competitor. But, you know, Duke had 5 straight non-winning records in the ACC. When Mike they got worse every year after the 3rd year that Mike was here, until things turned around with that Dawkins group. So it can be done.
Lang, Hurley is able to see.
Nice release.
And Lang, 17, matching his season high. Hip nails it. Nice turnaround move.
You know, Hip does a nice job coming off screens down inside. That's the second time tonight he set a good screen and popped out. Lang has been the primary ball handler against this little semi-press. Dangerous pass.
And we've got a foul on Rhodes. Still 4:57 to play.
Well, you know, there's a case, and of course this Maryland team is struggling. When you struggle, there's reasons for it. One of the things that's very evident tonight, they're doing an awful lot of reaching on defense. You know, they're not moving their feet to get out in front of a man. They're not picking up on the break. They're just sticking their hands out, committing fouls, and that's why you commit fouls, because your body is not in position to play defense.
Mr. Hurley to the line.
1-and-1.
Shoots a 1-and-1. He's 0 for 2 at the line. Double figures in assists again. We talked about the record breaker, but boy, the total number of assists that he's had here in the last 2 weeks has been phenomenal. 15 at State, 16 against the Seminoles, 15 Sunday against UCLA, and now 11 tonight.
You know, the other thing about Duke in this stretch without Grant Hill, they only turned the ball over, as example, 6 times against Wake Forest. They've had, in the last 6 games, 107 assists, only 58 turnovers. So as a team, almost 2-1. You know?
And remember, a couple of weeks ago when we were here, Billy, against Georgia Tech, they had more turnovers than assists.
Exactly.
As a team.
So really turning things around. I mean, if you can have a couple of guys in your team with a 2-to-1 turnover ratio, it's great. When you've got a whole team doing that, you're on fire.
Kevin McClinton with 21 points now tonight. He's also picked up 9 assists, as you said.
He continues that tremendous streak against Duke University.
Billy, he needs 1 more point now for 1,000 in his career. Kevin McClinton. 83-65. Blakeney.
Nice catch.
Oh, boy, great hands by Parks.
I mean, that ball was thrown like a rocket, and Parks was able to get his hands on it.
Kerwin puts it in.
Basket by Chris Kerwin.
Blakeney, too long for Hurley, but he saves it. Blakeney's got it. Thomas Hill underneath the Hurley.
I thought Bobby Hurley was going to try a hook shot down in low.
I did too.
Thomas Hill. He really froze McClinton.
We had mentioned the ACC tournament. That's the way the games will stack up in terms of starting times. And if the season ended today, this is the way they'd go with Wake and Virginia. They just played last weekend. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina against Maryland State. And that game is all set now, the Terps and the Wolfpack. And then Duke, Georgia Tech. Some intriguing matchups.
Of course, that Duke, Georgia Tech earlier in the year knocked Duke out of the #1 position down in Atlanta. Came back up here and played fairly well against Duke, but of course picked up a loss. You know, we were toying with the great point guards in the conference history. There's only been one point guard that's been the ACC Player of the Year twice, and it's John Roche, the outstanding guard for what was then an ACC member, South Carolina, in the Frank McGuire years. So when you start thinking of guys, you know, the Lou Casellas, the Jackie Murdochs back in the earlier days of the conference, the great Charlie Davises, there have been a bunch of them.
Thomas Hill with a great steal. Collins fouled by Simpkins.
And the other thing, in regard to the guard positions this year, the ACC has had a lot of years where they have had a lot of good guard combinations, obviously, and a lot of them have moved on into the NBA. But I don't know if the league has ever had as many good guards and guard combos from top to bottom as you have this year. It just really quality backcourt players. And that's one of the reasons, obviously, the league is doing so well. I mean, you just don't do it unless you've got guys back there that can run a team, make a three, guard somebody in the backcourt. Sets the stage.
And one of the reasons, too, Billy, why ACC teams perennially do so well in postseason play is much more emphasis on the guard play.
No question. I mean, you know, if you said the all-league guards were Corey Alexander and Travis Best, you wouldn't have to apologize for that at all, you know?
Yeah, throw a Chris Whitney in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Burns stuffs it for his 12th point. He has moved now to 14th on the all-time Maryland scoring list, passing Bob Kessler. 88-69. Collins for three.
Well, that might as well have been a layup, as he was just sitting over there in perfect position to shoot. Hurley's shoe comes off, so he gets stopped.
And we've got a timeout on the floor. 3:06, time remaining, 91-69 Duke. We'll return after this from the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Thomas Hill, and very shortly, I'm sure, Billy, they'll be getting their curtain calls.
I would imagine so.
Hip. Thomas Hill aboard.
And they're already starting to talk about Carolina, which comes up Sunday. #1 team in the nation, deservingly so, playing some great defense.
Against the two-time champions.
Yep. Stop the Deacons tonight. Team blessed with some pretty good guard play there as well. Not to leave anybody out of it. Florida State with Cyril Ward and Sam Cassell. I mean, you're talking about there probably are 12 to 15 quality guards in this league.
Collins takes it.
Got fouled on the head, no call.
McClinton. Rhodes.
Nice try.
Out of bounds to Maryland.
Boy, Rhodes is quick.
Here comes Meek, and the Chief goes out of the ball game.
And I'll tell you something else. We've been in stats all night. The senior classes that have preceded Bobby Hurley's senior class, there's the nice three outside by Johnny Rhodes. But Greg Kubek's group won 117 games. Danny Ferry's group won 117 games. Christian Leitner's group won 123 games. Tonight, Hurley's group goes to 118 wins. So that's pretty impressive, the last four classes, huh?
And 56-3 at home.
They have a chance to be the best as far as percentage is concerned, too, if they can move through the NCAA tournament, because they only have 23 losses to go with those 118 wins in their 4 years.
Coming in for Duke is Kenny Brown.
He's coming in for Hurley.
He will wait at the table. Bobby will go to the line with 1:30 to play.
I saw when Bobby came walking in out of the rain coming into the gym tonight, and he stopped at the door, talked to some of the guys that have been at that player's entrance door for many years, and he said, I really can't believe I'm walking in here for the last time, to play a game. And he's had a solid one. He's going to sit down.
So Hurley comes out.
And he finally shows some real emotion, huh? It got to him.
Passed by Bristol.
And Bristol with a bucket.
You talk about highs and lows for a player. I can remember, of course, in his sophomore year, that final game that year against UNLV. And they had to sit there and take a pounding.
But oh, what it led to.
Yep.
Lately on the run. Under a minute, Mike wants to have Thomas Hill get his
curtain call. He wants to get him out of there.
If they don't have a dead ball, I'm sure Mike will call a timeout. Bristol gets the bucket.
I'm sure Mike would like to see a foul committed right here.
Collins for three.
Thomas wanted to call timeout himself.
Rhodes will take it and hit it.
Three-pointer by
Johnny, 19
That Mike is going to call the timeout now so he can take Thomas out of there. And he's not going to get a chance to do it.
Bristol.
There it is.
And the foul is on Kenny Brown. So Stan Brunson will come in, and Thomas Hill will take his bounds.
Stan Brunson replacing number 12, Thomas Hill. Number 31, Rick Bristol, shooting 2 for the Terrapins.
We talked a lot tonight, Billy, about statistics. And listen to what these Duke Blue Devils have done tonight. Parks, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. Lang, 17 points, 9 boards. Hurley, 19 points, 12 assists and 3 steals. And Thomas Hill, 13 points and 6 rebounds. What a game.
Well, for Hill and Hurley, there's one more game to play at a place that is very important in your career, too. Play your final regular season game in Chapel Hill.
At the buzzer, it's all over. So the Duke Blue Devils 95 and the Maryland Terrapins 79. The seniors win their finale at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Tonight's